Will, how many startups have you done?
I've done 9. This is over a 30-year period. It's been a run. They've almost all been in different industries. So 9 different startups, 9 different industries, from advertising to high-risk consumer finance to casting for television, you name it. I've been everywhere.
Okay. So we got to dive into this.
Yeah.
How many of those startups would you say were successful in that you had an exit or you felt satisfied? And then how many were like, just, we got to shut down?
Okay, so here's what I would say. The first one and the last one were the most successful. The first one was in 94. I started one of the first internet companies. It was actually one of the first web design companies, building quite literally some of the first commercial web pages on the internet, which is so weird to say, right? I mean, I feel like a dinosaur saying that. Currently, with the last 10 to 12 years, has been Startups.com. Now, in between, I started a whole bunch of companies, and I was trying to rapid fire them. Right. My idea was kind of like building or investing in real estate, like getting a portfolio of properties. I was trying to create a portfolio of like e-commerce companies. And the idea was just subscription-based companies where you'd subscribe or run a classified ad, and that's how we'd make our money. We did one in automotive, still around, called Swaplease.com. We did one for casting on television. I mentioned called GotCast. That isn't around anymore, but that was a lot of fun. And here's what I would say. Swaplease is still around, still makes a ton of money, good business. I have nothing to do with it anymore. And some of the other businesses actually rolled into what became Startups.com. So some of those kind of were the impetus, like Fundable.com was one of the things that we started that became part of Startups.com. And there's been a few absolute failures. And so we had one called Affordit.com, which was probably the best idea I ever had. Could not have come at a worse time. The idea was this simple, right? The idea was, what if people wanted to buy stuff, retail and e-commerce? By the way, the timestamp on this is like 2005. What if people want to buy stuff online, but they want to pay for it in a number of payments? And you're like, oh, like Klarna, Affirm, whatever? Yes. 10 years before those companies. We raised a bunch of money, nothing crazy, and went at it hard, and the financial crisis happened. And the idea of being in a high-risk consumer-facing finance business was the dumbest idea you could possibly have, as mortgages were collapsing and everything else like that. And talk about the wrong place, the wrong time. We got decimated. So you get wins and losses, and that's okay.
That's pretty common. I was involved in a startup, and people will listen to this and be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. But it was, we're going to stream music online. And you get to click a button, thumbs up or thumbs down, and then the system software will determine how often you hear that music, and you get to create lists and everything. This was 2001, and today,
early
Spotify.
Pandora.
Yeah. All that stuff, right? So, okay.